What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we have some very, very interesting news. As undefeated two-division world champion, superstar boxer, Jermall Lions Only Charlo, 32 wins, no losses, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. Jermall Charlo is calling out Olympic gold medalist, 5-division world champion, retired, keyword retired, Hall of Fame iconic Mexican superstar boxer, Oscar the Golden Boy Dela Hoya. And he could possibly face off against former multi-division world champion superstar boxer in Danny the Miracle Man Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is 37 wins, 4 losses, no draws, 30 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out. He's 35 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 73-inch arm reach. We last saw Danny Jacobs in the ring February of this year, and he took a split decision loss to John Ryder, in which I thought he won the fight. Danny Jacobs just didn't seem very active in the fight. And prior to that, he fought against Gabe Rosado in November of 2020, 2 years before that, so he was out the ring for 2 years. He won a split decision against Gabe Rosado, and another, in my opinion, a lackluster performance by Danny Jacobs. I think Danny Jacobs is a much better fighter than what he has been displaying in these last couple of fights. It looks like Danny Jacobs is not as hungry as he once was, okay? As far as Oscar De La Hoya goes, he is 49 years of age, okay? Now, Danny Jacobs and Jermall Charlo, they came face to face. They went viral, and it seemed like they could be on the collision course for a big fight, and the fight never materialized. And according to Danny Jacobs, he was more than willing to make the fight happen with Jermall Charlo, and Jermall Charlo wasn't willing to be acceptance of a fight with Danny Jacobs. Okay, so now Jermall Charlo, he calls out 49-year-old Oscar De La Hoya, who has 39 wins, 6 losses, no draws, 30 wins by way of knockout. Twice in his career, he was knocked out. 5'11" with a 73-inch arm reach, okay? Last time Oscar De La Hoya was in a real boxing match was December of 2008. 14 years ago, okay? When he took a bad loss to Manny Pacquiao. He was stopped against Manny Pacquiao, okay? So with that said, there's talks that Danny Jacobs could possibly be the opponent for Jermall Charlo, which means that I expect Jermall Charlo to move up to 168, because I don't see Danny Jacobs coming back down to 160, okay? Or Jermall Charlo can go ahead and proceed with a guy that Danny Jacobs beat, and Macy Selecki, okay? Danny Jacobs, he beat Macy Selecki. He was the first guy to beat Macy Selecki. And Jermall Charlo was scheduled to fight Macy Selecki on June 19th of this year. Danny Jacobs, he beat him back in April of 2018, okay? And he won a unanimous decision. He even dropped Macy Selecki, I believe, in that fight. Entertaining fight. So with that said, Macy Selecki was supposed to be the opponent for Jermall Charlo, but Jermall Charlo reportedly suffered a back injury that saw him pull from the fight. Macy Selecki, 30 wins, 2 losses, no draw, 11 wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 6'1" with a 68-inch arm reach out of Poland. Okay, so that was the initial opponent for Jermall Charlo, June 19th, Juneteenth weekend of this year. But Jermall Charlo, again, reportedly suffered a back injury. Back when Jermall Charlo and Danny Jacobs came face to face and it went viral, that was a huge fight, okay? It seemed like it was a huge fight on the verge of happening, and it just never materialized, okay? They came face to face at the Barclays Center. They started talking about purse splits. Danny Jacobs said, "You never touched the M in your career, you're not doing big numbers, you're a young pup, you're doing a lot of talking, but we can make it happen." Danny Jacobs, he walked up on Jermall Charlo, said, "Yes, sir, I came at the right time," and then he confronted Jermall Charlo, okay, and they went back and forth, right? And so with that said, it was a big fight at that point in time. But like right now, like I said, Danny Jacobs doesn't seem as hungry as he once was, okay? Jermall Charlo has faced 2 world champions that were world champions by the time he faced them. That being Cornelius K9 Bundrich for his first title opportunity, and then Austin Trout, okay, who was a former world champion. Outside of that, the next guy that he fought was a world champion was Julian J. Rock Williams, who didn't become a champion until I believe 3 years after he beat him. So J-Rock, when he beat him, was a challenger. He wasn't a champion. He didn't become a champion until years later when he beat and shocked the world when he dominated well, he didn't dominate, but he won a very impressive victory over Swift Jarrett Hurd. Okay, and then he immediately lost the titles to Jason Rosario, getting knocked out in his hometown. So with that said, you know, if you want to factor in Julian J. Rock Williams, he's beaten 3 world champions his entire career in over 30 fights and at 32 years of age. It's an understatement to say it's time for Jermall Charlo to step up. That's an understatement. And to fight Danny Jacobs right now, again, he will have to go to 168. I'm sure Danny Jacobs is not going to come down to 160. To call out Oscar De La Hoya, who hasn't fought in 14 years. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, to Jermall Charlo's defense, had made some comments, stated that, you know, he wanted to fight, you know, Jermall Charlo or Jermall Charlo in a comeback fight. He felt like he could win those fights. He even made mention of Canelo Alvarez's name, but I don't take Oscar De La Hoya serious in an actual comeback at 49 years of age, 50 years of age. What's ironic is, the sad part about it is, if Oscar did come back and fight Jermall Charlo, he would be, even at 50, the best fighter Jermall Charlo's ever faced at 50 years old. That speaks volumes for the inactivity of Jermall Charlo. Okay, so with that said, you know, Jermall Charlo has been facing the Matt Carball's, the the C and B level fighters, you know, as of late, since he fought Julian J. Rock Williams. Now to his defense, he did fight Sergey Derevyanchenko, and that was a big win because Sergey Derevyanchenko was coming off a fight with Gennady Triple G Golovkin, in which I thought he beat Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Okay, I thought Sergey Derevyanchenko deserved to get the nod for that fight, and he just didn't get the nod. Okay, but that's the biggest win in Jermall Charlo's career, Sergey Derevyanchenko, in my opinion. Outside of that, the next guy you have to say is Julian J. Rock Williams, right? Or Austin Trout. And, you know, to fight Macy Selecki, there was talks that he was signed to face off against Jaime Munguia, okay? And that fell through because of the promotional company. So to Jermall Charlo's defense in that situation, that was Oscar De La Hoya's doing. Jaime Munguia is an undefeated former junior middleweight WBO world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, you know, and he fights under Golden Boy Promotions, and he fights on DAZN. So according to Steven Espinosa, Showtime president of sports, which they showcased Jermall Charlo's talents on their platform, stated that they was on the 1 yard line of getting the deal done, and then Oscar De La Hoya came in and threw in a curveball saying that DAZN needed to be involved, and Golden Boy wanted DAZN to be involved because they helped build up Jaime Munguia's resume, which is understandable. And so it fell through the wayside, and that's how we ended up with Macy Selecki. So now the 3 options, it looks like Danny Jacobs, he's calling out Oscar De La Hoya and Macy Selecki again, and they rule out. Steven Espinosa says he's done and rules out a possibility of unification bout with Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, undefeated 2-division world champion, who's the reigning WBO middleweight champion. He's ruled out of the equation. He's ruled out of the equation, but Macy Selecki is ruled in. It's not about feelings. It's not about personal agenda. It's about putting on the best fights for the fans for their money's worth. That's what it should ultimately be about. Not about, you don't like how Demetrius Andre did business in the past and he had the opportunity and now you're done with it. No, the fans are not done with it. The most important people, the consumers, are not done with it. You can't be done with it. It's not about you. See, this is the problem. The promoters, the networks, the managers, they make it about them. And they forget the most important persons involved in these entire equations. And that is the fans, the consumers. How could you say you're done with Demetrius Andre? He had his opportunity. And Jermall Charlo's doing live streams talking about he want to fight Demetrius Andre next. That's who he wants to fight. That's a unification bout. That's the biggest fight. But you're not done with Macy Selecki, or you calling out Oscar De La Hoya, or trying to resurrect what left or motivated Danny Jacobs is left? Because he said that Demetrius Andrade told him he was going to re-sign with the Zone and fight the low-level opposition for the money that they're paying him? Who cares? It's not about what took place in the past. It's about how you mend those relationships, get a deal done, do business now, and face off against each other. Period. Period. I don't know the direction for Jermall Charlo's career, but it's disappointing at this point. Period. He's fought 2 world champions his entire career. By the time that was champions, by the time he fought them. That's not acceptable. But that's all I got for y'all. So let's see how this plays out. Danny Jacobs, Jermall Charlo was a big fight years ago. You know, back in 2018, 2019. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.